There's a certain magic when you first pick up the iPhone Air. You know that feeling that iPhone 4 gave you when it felt more like a jewelry than a phone? Or when the 5S felt like the most balanced tool you could possibly carry. This one's got that same energy. It's the kind of phone you almost want to carry without a case. Not because you should, but because it feels like it was designed to show off. And it reminds me a lot of the original MacBook Air moment when Steve Jobs famously pulled it out of that envelope back in 2008. Apple's trying to make us feel that surprise again. This thing is just 5.6 mm thin, but unlike the Bendgate iPhone 6 days, it doesn't feel fragile. It feels like a precision object. At 165 grams, it actually makes the iPhone 17 Pro Max feel like a brick in your pocket. And that's just Apple being both brave and slightly reckless. Because let's be honest, no one asked for this. This isn't just another mini or plus experiment. The Air feels more like a provocation, maybe even a dress rehearsal for something bigger. A foldable maybe. So let's talk design. The titanium frame is here, giving it rigidity, and the ceramic shield 2 glass covers both sides. But you start to notice the compromises. For one, there is no SIM tray, it's eSIM only. And the raised camera block at the back isn't just optics. Apple's tucked in the silicon and even the speaker up there. The result is that you're left with just a single bottom speaker. That's a step back, and you can hear it right away if you're used to the stereo speaker setup. Still, it's a bold design statement, and honestly, it feels like Apple's chiseling the iPhone down to its essence. Now, the display. You're looking at a 6.5-inch LTPO OLED panel, 120Hz, HDR10, Dolby Vision up to 3000 nits peak brightness, and in my testing, I actually clocked it closer to 1900 nits in outdoor use, which is still plenty bright. At night, it drops all the way down to 1 nit, which makes doom scrolling at 2 AM surprisingly comfortable. Apple's new anti-reflective coating does help, though Samsung's S25 Edge still has the better glare handling. If you are comparing spec to spec, the Samsung wins. Higher resolution, HDR10+, more numbers, but if you look at them side by side, both displays look gorgeous in daily use. Performance is where the Air surprised me. You'd think shaving off this much thickness would mean compromises. But the A19 Pro with 12 gigs of RAM still keeps pace with the iPhone 17 family. On Geekbench, you're basically within striking distance of the Pro Max. Sure, on sustained GPU loads like running Genshin Impact for long, the Air loses out, but for short bursts, it actually spikes higher. In gaming tests, BGMI, COD Mobile and Genshin, the Air held a rock-solid 60 FPS, and crucially, it never got uncomfortably hot in hand. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the battery. With a 3149 mAh cell, this is the smallest in the lineup. Apple claims up to 27 hours of video playback, but my video loop test got just under 21 hours. In daily use, I was averaging around 5 hours of screen on time, which is enough for a work day, but I never once felt like I could push it to the next morning. Charging is just about fine. It takes an hour and a half to full and 50% in half an hour. But MagSafe is capped at 20 watt instead of the 25 watt on the other iPhones. Apple even launched a MagSafe battery pack that doubles your usage, but it also makes the Air thick again, which kind of defeats the whole point. So yes, the Air's battery is serviceable, but it's not for power users. Apple kept it simple here, a single 48 megapixel main camera and an 18 megapixel selfie camera. Now, the daylight shots are sharp, colors are natural, and dynamic range is balanced. It doesn't go overboard with HDR like some Androids, which I actually prefer. Portrait shots have clean edge detection and smooth blur roll-off. Low light is where you see the limitations. Details soften, noise creeps in faster than the Pro models, but for casual use, it's still good. And video is where Apple still leads. 4K at 60 with Dolby Vision HDR looks excellent, and stabilization is rock solid. Now, this isn't the iPhone for camera enthusiasts, but it's reliable, the kind of camera you can trust to give you a clean, natural shot without any fuss. So, here's the bottom line. At 1,19,900, the iPhone Air is not the rational choice. It doesn't have the battery life of the Pro Max, or the camera versatility of the Pro, or even the charging speeds of rivals that cost less. But it has something those phones don't. That feeling. That sense of wonder, like holding the future before everyone else catches up. If you once fell in love with the iPhone 4 just because it felt like a piece of another world, this is that feeling yet again. It's not the phone for everyone, but if you're someone who values design, thinness, and just the sheer joy of carrying something impossibly light and futuristic, the iPhone Air will speak to you. It's not the smartest choice, but sometimes the heart wins over the checklist. So that's my take on the iPhone Air. What do you think? Is this bold move from Apple something you'd actually want in your pocket? Or do you think thinness isn't progress anymore? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you for watching.